What's going on, everyone? So, Scary Movie 6, getting more and more updates that are coming out. And big question was Shorty, right? Marlon Wayans, we know that the movie is in the hands of the Wayans brothers. Marlon Wayans has done a lot of talking about it, even kind of teased the potential of Shorty returning to the Scary Movie franchise, which, I mean, come on, he's a staple, he's a classic. Got Regina Hall, you got Anna Faris back, right? So you got Sydney and Brenda. You gotta have Shorty in this, and Ray. We still at least haven't heard anything in regards to Ray as well, or at least that I have seen. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But Shorty, question was, is he going to be in the upcoming Scary Movie film? And we have official confirmation from Marlon Wayans himself that Shorty is indeed going to be returning to the Scary Movie franchise. Excited to see where he is in life, right? What's going to end up happening. I mean, even like the backstory, I don't want to spoil it for people because I recommend, like, go watch Marlon Wayans explain kind of the idea of Shorty. It's hilarious. And like how they got the inspiration. But this is the report from Bloody Disgusting. Marlon Wayans has confirmed that in addition to co-writing Scary Movie 6 alongside Shawn Wayans and Keenen Ivory Wayans, he'll also be back on screen as his character Shorty for the first two, or from the first two movies. Regina Hall and Anna Faris are also returning. So again, even in this confirmation, we don't have anything about Shawn returning as Ray, which you got to have Ray in the film as well. Right, you're getting the band back together. You got Regina Hall as Brenda, got Anna Faris as Sydney. You got Marlon Wayans back as Shorty. You gotta have Ray back, or Shawn Wayans back as Ray. But nonetheless, right? I mean, this is great. It just further adds to the excitement. I think we all kind of expected this, and kind of, I think we all knew that this was going to happen, that this was going to be down the pike. It's just a matter of when, not if. But it's nice to have that confirmation, kind of get the band back together. And like I talked about, right? Like you're making a spoof on the climate and what's going on with, modern horror and movies and things like that. And a big part of that right now is the whole, requels and legacy sequels and, bringing back all the characters of the past. I just think the story writes itself in that regard, right? You bring the band back together, you get everybody, back into the fold, and you tell a story, obviously joking about modern horror and all that stuff and spoofing all these things. Did a video earlier today. Go check that out after this video, of course. But did a whole video on the movies that Marlon Wayans even recently spoke on that could potentially make the spoof. I've seen a lot of people kind of say that those are the movies because of what Marlon said, but no, I did the whole breakdown. If you actually read what he said, which I show it on screen, if you actually read and listen to what he said, he didn't say that those are all the movies. He just said, like, there's a lot of inspiration, kind of mentioned a couple. Sinners kind of seemed like one that they are going to use. We know Scream Ghostface is going to be, or the spoof version of Ghostface, Doofy is going to be back in this and whatnot. And then you also have I Know What You Did Last Summer. But that's the point, right? Like, you have all of these Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer and The Exorcist and all these films that Scary Movie used in the past, that now you have once again, and the potential to, tell that legacy sequel, that legacy spoof. I just think it's too inherently easy. You got to do that. And now that you got, Shorty back into the fold and he's back into the mix, I'm excited to kind of see. Like I said, he's one of the more intriguing, fun, goofy characters, right? You're kind of rooting for him. Like, you have some silly things that you can do and get away with him as the character that he is. And so I'm genuinely excited to see kind of the approach and how do they go about Shorty, and then obviously Brenda and Sydney, right? Like, are the core four, using a Scream reference, are the core four of Ray, Shorty, Brenda, and Sydney, are they going to be the main focus? Or are they going to kind of do something where they have these new characters, kind of like, like the legacy sequels, where the new characters are kind of in the forefront, the new characters are the main focus, and then from there, you have the legacy characters as kind of the support and the pillar characters, and that's kind of the approach in which they take. So, to me, I hope they have a nice balance. I mean, obviously we want to see the iconic characters. Obviously we want to see the legacy characters and all that stuff. You don't want to, I feel like this Scary Movie in particular, at least this one, maybe if you establish good quality characters and stuff, you can kind of, slowly move away from them. But I think at least this film, you got to bring the band back together. You got to get all the main characters, front and center, and get people invested and engaged in the franchise again. I mean, you have Sydney and Brenda in particular, and think of all the ones that they've been in. It's one of those things you got to keep the familiar faces in place. You got to keep that intact, and have that the stories and build up those characters, and even if it's just kind of like the goodbye, the proper send off, you're kind of putting it all together, and then you're going to transition into the new characters, then do so. I don't think that this is going to be the last Scary Movie. I think this Scary Movie is going to do well. I think it's going to have its success. I think it's going to be successful, and if it is, then that should lead to more. So it just depends. Obviously, how long do these characters want to, or these actors and actresses, how long do they want to continue to play these characters? That's something you got to keep in mind too. They might be willing to come back for this one, and then they're kind of like, that's it. Regina Hall, is she open to kind of continuing to do this? Anna Faris, so on and so forth. If they are, then I think it's it's one of those things. I think it's an easy answer. You just keep doing them, right? Like that. To me, I just think that's a no-brainer. Just keep making that happen. But we'll see. I'm excited to see how this plays out and how this goes either way. I just, again, at the end of the day, I just want a good movie, good spoofs, good comedy. Give us just a good quality film, and then also have the main characters in it that we're familiar with, accustomed to, and it can expect them to give you the delivery and give you the execution with the characters that we need, right? Like, you need this one to be the one that kind of sparks the other films. So you need this one to be really well. I think you need to have the familiarity. You need to have the legacy characters. You need to have Shorty and Brenda and all of them in these films. And I think if you do that, and you do that correctly and right, then I think now you're in business. Now I think you will have the success necessary. Obviously, you need to have the good jokes and execution and storytelling and all the things that made Scary Movie so great, so beloved. Because it's a truly beloved franchise. One of my favorite films is the original Scary Movie. I love that movie. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? You excited that Shorty is back in this upcoming, the Scary Movie 6? Are you kind of like, I expected it, so, this isn't really a shocker or a surprise. But it's just, like I said, it's nice that we have the confirmation. It's nice that we actually have, like, hey, he's in this film, and we can expect and be excited going forward. But again, how do you feel? Either way, down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.